I saw a quote from Bradley Beal, and I thought it was very interesting. Now, we know guys just come out and say things with their teammates of today to try to smooth things over, to try to gas up their guys that they're playing with right now. We know that. But I thought what Brad Beal said was interesting for a multitude of reasons. The Washington Wizards got off to an awful start. They was the worst team for a while, but they have flipped on a switch, and they find themselves right in the mix out east. The East ain't that great this year. Towards the bottom, or hell, actually from like 3 on. The East ain't that great. So the Wizards are now at the point where they're potentially a playoff team. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see how this thing ends. They got the leading scorer in the league, Bradley Beal. You know, they traded Wall for Russ, and I'm one of the people who was like, damn, y'all go trade for Russ when he's on a decline. And John Wall seemingly finally got his act together in Houston. But I gotta admit, I've been swallowing my tongue over the last few weeks because Russ has been balling. He averaged a triple-double in the month of February. Obviously, Bill's been balling all year. And check out what Bradley Beal had to say about his teammate Russ. He said, for me, it's seeing how Russ brings it every single day as a leader, as a player, as a father, as a man. Like he's the best teammate I've probably ever had. And just in terms of leadership, probably one of the best leaders I've ever been around, because he holds himself accountable. He holds himself to a certain standard. That's the thing that confuses me with Russ, right? You meet Russell Westbrook, and everybody outside of Kevin Durant's burner account has nothing but glowing things to say about Westbrook, but it never really translates into real success, right? Like, even if the Wizards are able to get to the playoffs, they ain't going nowhere. They're the 7th seed. They're going to get eliminated by the Sixers or the Nets. If they're the 8th seed, they definitely going to go down by the Nets or the Sixers, depending on what happens out east. So to me, it's like, now we got another guy saying Russ is a great guy to play with. And you seeing Bradley Beal just say this man holds himself accountable. And I do get that part of it because we know Russell Westbrook is in phenomenal shape. But I look at how Russ plays on the court. I guess I got to understand, how is shooting 5 of 22 or 10 for 38, how is that holding yourself accountable? That part of it doesn't make sense to me. And some people will say that's a slight to John Wall. I actually don't look at it as a slight to John Wall. We got to think of it like this. Wall and Beal were a lot closer in age. I mean, Wall, it seemed like they were a lot closer in age. They just felt like the same, around the same, come on now. I mean, Wall and Beal, they damn near came around at the same time to that Wizards team. They grew up together. Russ has been around the block more. He's been to a finals appearance. He's been multiple playoff appearances. So I think Russ just seems a lot older than John and probably acted that way. Now, I think Wall today is a different guy than Wall yesterday, but Wall and Beal know each other from yesterday. So, like, it's one thing for me, like my homeboys that I grew up with, they still see me as, in a lot of ways, they still see me as 8-year-old FERRO. But my friends that I met in college, they see me in a different light, right? So I think that's a little bit of what's going on with Beal and Westbrook. But hey, man, if they're starting to figure it out from a chemistry standpoint, we all got to step back and apologize to the Wizards if they're able to make the playoffs. As ugly a start they got to, it looks like the chemistry in the backcourt is on a direct path together. They look like they're flowing well right now, as Beal claims Westbrook is the best teammate he's ever had.
Catch full new episodes of FERRO's music-based platform every day only on YouTube at It's Mr.Taliaferro. You can also find clips, updates, giveaways, and more on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, also at It's Mr.Taliaferro. For all basketball fans, make sure you tune in to FERRO's daily highlights, reports, and commentary on YouTube at HoopsFERRO, and even more updates on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at HoopsFERRO as well.